Welcome back to ESBR Boxing's YouTube channel. Delighted as always to be joined by Owen and Greg. This is a reaction video to the news that Jai Opetaia has a new opponent ahead of January the 8th, the undefeated David Nyika, after Hussein Sankara dropped out just a few days ago. Gents, just obviously relief there's still going to be an event taking place in on January the 8th in Australia. Kind of not a bad way to kickstart off the year with one of the best fighters in the world, the best cruiserweight in the world. We have a replacement opponent in David Nyika, someone who's undefeated, a puncher in his own right. Fought in the UK a couple of years ago, was on the undercard of Fury versus Usyk back in May. At the same time, obviously, we're not going to be deluded here. Obviously, Jai Opetaia is going to be a serious favourite for this fight. Owen, what's your reaction to this one? One fighter out, one new fighter in.
I think it's like we said off camera. I think it's actually a better fight, to be honest. Although neither of them are, exactly household names. I think David Nyika has definitely been seen on these shores. He's evidently a big puncher, 9 knockouts and 10 wins. I think it's always intriguing when someone at this stage of their career, throws caution to the wind, puts his bollocks on the table and goes, "Yeah, go on then, I'll take him on." So massive credit to Nika for taking the fight on. Still a bit underwhelming. I think the original fight was underwhelming as well because I think Opetaia, we want to see him in huge, huge fights now against big names. So it's one of them, but like you say, Jai Opetaia in the ring is never a bad way to start a new year. So looking forward to seeing Opetaia, and to be honest, I think I'm just looking forward to see if David Nika actually goes for it, whether he's coming to get a payday or if he, like I say, throws caution to the wind and says, "Let's have it."
Yeah, of course. I think you're right in what you said about it being a better fight. Sin Cara, I think one of my kind of worries about him was he's was turns 40 next month. Um, and you question kind of where he's been. If not many people have really heard of him, where's he kind of been for the last 10, 15 years? Whereas Nika, 29 years old, so around the same age as Jai Opetaia and 10-0, and kind of just more of a well-known fighter than Sin Cara, I think a lot of people would say. Um, Greg, what do you think? This is obviously kind of he's having a fight right at the beginning of 2025. What do you think 2025 is going to look like for Jai Opetaia? Looked impressive during his fights in 2024, but arguably, he had that Breeders fight, which was another good fight. But arguably the other fights he had weren't the most competitive. What do you think 2025 looks like?
It's difficult, Elliot, because I don't think anybody really wants to fight him. And why would they? He's very much an elite fighter who probably brings rewards financially to fight, but not the rewards that maybe someone like I know this is a big change, but an Anthony Joshua or a Tyson Fury or even another big name, American or Dimitri Bivol, etc. So he's very much a fighter that if you're going to fight Jai Opetaia, you need to make sure that you think, I'm going in there to win. I'm going in there to make myself world champion. I think 2025, it will look like he'll stay cruiserweight for a bit, Elliot. There's a lot of things on the line just now. So you've got Bivol and Beterbiev. They talk about the winner moving up, but they're not meeting until February. You've got Usyk and Fury. They're not going to be ready till at least probably the summer after their fight. So unless he moves up and gets himself into a position to challenge right away for the world heavyweight title, I think he's maybe got a little bit of unfinished business left at cruiserweight.
Yeah, we'll see. I think we'll see what happens. I think my worry with Opetaia is that people lose interest if they don't see him in that massive fight because he's clearly a massive talent, but he's just not been in he's not been in. I think he's not been in a massive fight yet. I think it's fair to say the two fights against Breedis were big fights, but the other fights, a lot of them have been on kind of Riyadh season undercards, which is fantastic exposure. But you really want to see him in a super fight. You mentioned Beterbiev Bivol there, Greg. How likely do you think it is we could see the winner of that fight face off a time 2025?
I think it's a lot more likely, fellas, if it's Beterbiev. I think Beterbiev looks as though he could go up. There's always been the rumours that Bivol could maybe even go back down. He could make 168. So I think it's much more likely if it's Beterbiev, but in this game, money talks, guys. If there's a load of money through Bivol, if he wins, then I've no doubt he's going up and taking that fight.
Yeah, look, I would personally love. I know it's not really Opetaia's style. I mean, I know you've interviewed Opetaia in the past, a very intimidating man, but I would love it if he was there on February 22nd and he's there to basically call out the winner. Not sure he's going to do that, but I hope he's there and causes some headlines. Owen, what do you think we're going to see Opetaia do in 2025? I think Greg mentioned like maybe won't move up to heavyweight, but that's still an option for him. Winner of Patervia Bivol. Gilberto Ramirez is a name that none of us mentioned. I'm personally not convinced that fight's going to happen because I think Ramirez probably knows what's going to not knows what would happen in that fight. But what do you see happening?
That was what I was going to come on to. I think, like Greg said, with the heavyweight division pretty much tied up, I don't think we'll see him go up there just yet. But I think he's got an unbelievable chance of being undisputed at cruiserweight. Ramirez has got two bouts now, WBA, WBO. It's been well stated that Jai Opetaia, I don't know if it's for some reason the Australian route or, they've really been after the WBO bout. It was talked about Billum Smith, if he won, wanted Opetaia next. And Badu Jack's been made WBC cruiserweight champion again, which is absolutely outrageous going into 2025 that Badu Jack is still a world champion. So I think when you look at that, I think Opetaia cruises through Ramirez. I think Ramirez, as good as he looked against Chris Billum Smith did have some areas of success. And I think the success he had, Jai Opetaia, it just latch onto those and, it being fairly easy night's work. And Badu Jack, Jai Opetaia is just a mismatch at this stage of Badu Jack's career. So I honestly think, I personally said myself in some older videos on the channel, I did think 2025 we would be seeing Opetaia at heavyweight, but I think it makes perfect sense for him to tie up the cruiserweight division, look at becoming undisputed, and then he's got a choice. He's either got the super fight against Bivol or Beterbiev, or goes up to heavyweight and has got a potential super fight.
Yeah, look, there's so many big fights that we've all discussed here and they're all very exciting, but you just want to see them happen. I don't want to be here this time next year talking to the two of you saying, yeah, 2026 is going to be the year Jobs is going to do this and going to do that. But we'll see. Optai will face David Nyika on January the 8th. We'll have to see what time of day time of day it is, but we will be trying watching here in the UK. Greg, Owen, thank you both very much for your time, and we'll speak again very soon.
Thanks, guys.
Cheers, mate.